Hello, welcome to Productions MJC. My name is Mark. Today we'll be discussing sort of a rebuttal to something on an earlier video I made just a little while ago, and the gentleman said that there was a problem with it, so I wanted to take a look at that. But first, challenges. These challenges that happen, do they really happen? Does this debate really happen? I saw a video with some flat earth video makers that were congratulating themselves, patting themselves on the back because their opponent, a glober, didn't show up. And I've seen what appears to be an inconsistency in what they're saying, because it's an easy debate. And there is one thing I would like to debate. One thing and one thing only: the distance from the Earth to the Moon. Now, this is their concept, the flat Earth concept. This is vertical, but they say it's horizontal, semi-transparent, self-illuminating, and just floats around in the sky somehow. That's their concept, and they say it's close. So what is the distance from the Earth to the Moon, or the Moon to the Earth? And how can we find that out? I did in an earlier video, but this video is basically a challenge to any flat earther out there who thinks they know what the distance is, because that's the average mean distance. And that's provable, that is measurable, and that is highly accurate. It's not guesswork. This is their 3,000 mile, and it floats around between 3,000 and 6,000 miles. I've even heard a couple of people say it's 7,200 miles because MIT found a plasma reflection barrier supposedly at 7,200 miles. But this is their misrepresentation of what the Earth is, and I'll explain why I can prove that. This is how. This is the other video. I'll put a link in here to it. But this video explained, and I haven't heard anything from these folks. These are the little icons of, Jeranism, Globebusters, and DITRH, I believe, and others, Eric Dubay, whatever. I have seen their videos, and I tried to put in practice what they were saying, and it didn't work. So I began to understand that there was something wrong with their calculations, with their terms, what they were saying. But these seem to be the big five, I guess, of the flat Earth video makers: p-brane, Jeranism, down the rabbit hole. They are the ones. Now, I have been on their videos, and I've offered up a challenge to them. Come and look at my stuff and talk about it. There has been one person who has a collection of videos, and he had a bunch, and he challenged me. And but then what I did is I showed the distortions of flat Earth. Everything's distorted. Nothing works. This is a fisheye lens, and this is actually how it works. Along the center line, it doesn't bend anything up or down. It's straight. Above the center line, it does bend things up, and below the center line, it bends things down. But that's what they forget to tell you, that it bends things down below the center line. So they'll show you a high altitude video of the Earth, and then they'll say, well, we need to correct that. But they correct it inappropriately or at the wrong time just to prove their point. And this is another thing. Now, if you look, the big black line goes to the circle that is right there in the bottom left-hand corner near that red arrow. Well, the red arrow represents, I think it's Port Arthur, Tasmania. And in true latitude, it is equal to about where the yellow arrow is of Puerto Madre, I think it is, in Argentina. But actually, this map if you look at it, this map puts Tasmania farther south than New Zealand. I mean, it's almost the entire island of Tasmania on this distorted map is south of New Zealand, farther south than New Zealand, which it's a distortion. There's other distortions on there, like the equator's in the wrong place and such, but they distort stuff. This distortion shows a flashlight, spotlight type light, which, when seen from another angle, I explain that in my videos, would make an oval, not a round circle. They distort a lot of stuff. So the Flat Earth Moon Bounce EME video that I made is talking about just measuring the distance between Earth and the Moon, done by amateurs. And this is basically the only way it works. It doesn't work on a flat Earth model at all. And the reason it can't is because that signal from transmitter to receiver takes a little over 2.5 seconds to travel. And a moon that's 3,000, 6,000, 60,000 miles won't work. And on that video, had a gentleman, Scott, he's the guy that made the video. He challenged me to show him curvature with one of his videos. I did. That's another one of my videos. It only takes 2 minutes. And he's been quite upset about it. And he came back and started to put some dislikes on my video and make stupid comments like, we don't know the actual speed of radio waves as there's no way to measure them. That ignorance of reality is astounding in this day and age. You know, and as I put down here, EME is proof the moon is not close. Radar detectors, air traffic control, you know, there's so many things that use radar, and they calculate it by using the speed of the transmission. Absolutely excellent site here, radartutorial.eu. And I would suggest, if you really don't understand, honestly don't understand how radar works and how measuring distance through time transmission works, then go here and look at it. It's just the way it is. Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist and you hate NASA and all that stuff, then you probably won't pay attention to any of this, and you'll just call it all fake and ignore it. But that is reality. Whether you want to ignore reality or not, that's up to you. But this is reality. There's an air traffic control tower. There's the landing and takeoff radar. And radar is what keeps everybody alive. This is the long-range radar plan. This is how the radar keeps track of where all the planes are and keeps them from running into each other. Now, this is a screenshot from Flight Radar 24. If radar didn't work, then there would be thousands of dead people. You know, there's just no way to say it, except the way radar works is it tracks the planes, it knows the distance, it knows the speed, knows the height, and radar works. Radar works in other ways too. Weather radar, predicting storms, calling out, you know, the flash flood warnings, the severe thunderstorm warnings and such. Tornado warnings. See, algorithm is a mathematical way to calculate where this tornado is going, how fast it's spinning, and who needs to get out of its way. This is a tornado early warning radar system. But here is the kicker. Here's how radar works too. It takes a radio signal, shoots it out in pulses, bounces it back, and it calculates how fast you're going. And good luck trying to fight a ticket in court saying that, well, we don't really know how to measure radio waves. We don't really know how fast they're going. They have been using this for quite a while, and they think they know. Matter of fact, for $120, you can buy your own handheld version. This is basically different though. This is a rangefinder. You just put it up, look through the telescope on the top, push the buttons, and it tells you how far away you are by bouncing light off and calculating how long it takes to come back. And that is basically it. So Earth-Moon-Earth communication, EME, also known as moon bounce, is a radio communications technique that relies on the propagation of radio waves from an Earth-based transmitter directed via reflection from the surface of the moon back to an Earth-based receiver. There's the time frames, there's the distance. Like I said, 300,000 kilometers, 230,000 miles won't work. It's 238 average, something like that. That's just the it works exactly like radar. Look at my other video. Amateurs do it. They communicate by talking through EME. Look it up on just Google EME or moon bounce communication. You'll find out what I'm talking about. Or better yet, watch my video and you'll understand even better. That top is basically to scale, I think. It explains what's going on in moon bounce. And this is what the gentleman was trying to tell me. I was trying to say it is really that far because it takes 2.5 seconds, better than 2.5 seconds, for a signal to leave a transmitter, bounce off the moon, and come back. And that is exactly the way it works. A person in Alaska, for instance, bounces it off the moon, talks to somebody in Siberia, and so on. It's amateur radio communications method. So this is what I had a flat earther tell me. We don't care about the truth. All we're doing is teaching controversy. We want to teach that we have the right to choose what we believe and what we don't. Well, if you don't want to believe reality, then there's a place for you. It's called a mental institution. That's where you need to live out your life. Because look at what this person said. We don't know the actual speed of radio waves as there's no way to measure them. Try telling that to a judge. Just walk right straight up to the judge when you've got your speeding ticket and say those exact words. See how far you get. Because it's been around for decades. Flat Earth theory people. If you must lie to prove a point, you have no point. And that is my point. Well, thanks for watching. If you know any of those icons of those flat earth video makers, if you recognize them, pass this challenge on. This is my challenge. I challenge them to prove that my EME video is incorrect. I want them to prove how far the moon is away, because radar proves how far it's away. It's just a scientific proved fact. So I challenge them to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And just measuring the distances, visual distances in two different places doesn't work, because if it is a globe, it works from a globe and it works from their alleged flat Earth. This EME is the globe is the only way it can work. Like I said, it doesn't prove a globe, but don't be fooled by their presentations. They're really slick. They'll try to do, but test it out for yourself. The one thing I always say is test this out for yourself. Get with, please like, subscribe, spread the word, spread the truth, keep the truth flowing. Show this to people and get some active thought on it, instead of like that other idiot Scott that just says, well, it isn't proven. Just standing around saying something's fake doesn't prove anything. Physically prove it. Back it up with what you're saying. I challenge any flat earth believer to prove me wrong, especially the ones that have been ignoring me. Jeranism, p-brane, and all these others that won't. I've challenged them. Show them this video. Show them. Say, this guy's flat out throwing down the gauntlet and challenging you. So bring it on. And as always, I would like to thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This has been Mark with Productions MJC.